I've been playing Minecraft for years, and honestly, it's gotten a little stale for me lately. But when I saw the Hytale trailer for the first time back in 2018, it felt like everything I ever wanted Minecraft to be. After all the delays, I decided to make my own version of Hytale inside Minecraft, with add-ons, creativity, and a lot of patience. And now that Hytale has basically been saved, it feels like the perfect time to start chasing my dream job, being a Hytale content creator. So before the real thing arrives, let me show you the world that has kept me creatively alive. Let's start where this world actually didn't begin. I would like to sort of call this the mid-game house, because the original starter house was back that way, and it was much smaller, but I didn't like the location where it was, so I decided to tear it down and make a new one, which was actually inspired by this Pinterest image right here. Going on to the inside, it's not that great, at least not for my standards. There's a little place to sit in front of the fire with my... Where did that go? There's also a cat tree for my cats. They don't actually go on it because they're ungrateful. And my poor dog who sits in the corner because I have yet to actually build him a doghouse. There's also a little kitchen nook where if we take a little right, we'll go out onto the porch with a little shed with nothing in it. My game is lagging. And a little seating spot. And then we can walk down here to the back with a pond that used to be home to my axolotls, and actually there is still one in here. I honestly thought I got rid of you. The one axolotl died in the bonfire while the other one found its way to the ocean. It outgrew me and it wanted to move out, so it's somewhere out here. But I don't really want to keep this pond here. I don't think this area is big enough for a pond, but it would be big enough just to keep this. And unfortunately, there are no s'mores in the mods that I have, so I can't exactly put any marshmallows around the campfire, but I could put books for ghost stories and such. Moving on up the road, we have the greenhouse. Now, this build, I am still happy with it, but what I don't like is the green moss that I put in the middle roof. I wanted to mimic the barn, which we'll look at a little later, but I really don't like it anymore. I might change it to oak or something, but I'm not 100% happy with that up at the top at all. This build is currently for modded crops, specifically crops that come from my furniture mod that I have on this world. In this mod, there are, I actually forget, tomatoes, cabbage, bell peppers, eggplant, and I believe there's also chili peppers, but I don't think I have them currently. Either that or you can craft them. Hold on. Oh, there is chili. Oh my god, no, never mind. You make them with fire essence. Fire essence? Blaze powder. How long have I been playing this game? Once these plants get an individual farm, then this build will home just flowers and saplings. One other thing that is attached to this is the land that it is built on top of. I'm actually gonna run over here to get a better look at it. Before I even built that, I had to build the terrain below it, and I am still very happy with how this turned out. With the pathway going down to the bottom and then to this little house down here, which I'm going to get to, but really I'm just so happy with this. So happy in fact that now I'm bored and I'm going to go to bed. I wanted a little detail down here that the pathway goes to besides just river, and I built this little house, and at first this little nook in the wall didn't have anything in it, but then I needed a spot to store my dirt blocks and sand blocks. So I built a little cave under here. Am I currently happy with it 100%? Not really anymore. I was when I first built it, but I'm not quite anymore. And oh my goodness, PC, can you just run the game? And yeah, nothing too interesting with this, but I do really like how I built the rocks in here. But that's about it. Nothing really interesting with this. moving on, we have the big old barn. Now this build I made with no reference, I'm pretty sure. It's a very dark build, and it used to house every single farm animal that you could commonly find. Cows used to be over here, and sheep still live over here. But I figured animals like cows and like sheep should have a much more open space, hence the cow pen back there that was just recently built. But once the sheep are out of here, I'm going to do a little bit more work on the inside. I'm going to tear down these walls to let the pigs in that are on the other side, which we'll look at in a second. And I'm also going to tear down this wall once the sheeps are removed and in their own separate area, and to let the chickens in. Speaking of chickens, there's none in here, and there's not because they somehow keep getting out, even though I tested this and there should not be any way for them to actually get out. Apparently there is. So I have no idea, honestly. Now, connected to the barn, I'm also going to have us take a look at the first of two pens, which is why I'm not opening the gate, I don't know. But this was a recent build with legit within the last couple of weeks. But they have their nice big water tub. If you've ever seen the videos of the guy yelling at his cows for going into their water tub, that's kind of where this came from, interestingly enough. They have their little place to eat, which I've used this in so many different worlds, in friends' worlds, my worlds, everything. I use this everywhere. I just think it's very simple and it fits. And then this was a last-minute addition. Right before I was completely done with this, I said, you know what? Let's just give them a little bit of shelter, because what if it's raining, or what if one of them is hurt, or whatever, and they need a place to go inside. They have extra water in here, extra food, and this is supposed to be a little bit of bedding using the straw block that I have from, I believe, the realism pack. You make this with dry grass. It's not finished, and this is here. This was put here temporarily because of baby cows. That there's like no blocks underneath this, and I didn't want baby cows to fall in. And that's unfinished. This build is unfinished. This is marked as unfinished in my books. In fact, even the walls here are unfinished because I want there to be some kind of small gate from like my backyard to this. So yeah, this isn't quite finished, but it's pretty much there. Another thing I forgot to mention too is, let me wrap around the side here. Both the hay roof block there and then the hay blocks both come from my furniture add-on that I use. I absolutely love it because the hay is a little bit of a different color than the actual hay bales. This is a bit more paler and this is a bit more saturated. Since the realism mod and the furniture mod are not together, this texture is a little different than that one. So I kind of like that that's a little bit more saturated. Something else I kind of passed up on, I kind of meant to do it when we were looking at the greenhouse, but this little well here, and you can tell I built this recently because my little setup is over here. This is how I set up my area for building. I built this as an easy way, a nearby way to get some water when I need it instead of going all the way down to the rivers. I like this area. I'm very happy with this little side decoration here. The only thing I don't like is how massive this tree grew, and when this did grow, I didn't like it as soon as I saw it, but for some reason I didn't get rid of it. I guess I just really wanted to get this done before I recorded this first video. And I guess while we are still looking at the barn area, let's take a look at the fields. It's very simple. There is nothing that special about these other than I just really like how they look. And my favorite thing is with the mods that I have the ability to make things like this. These are baskets of carrots as well as just the placeable carrot items. There's also beetroots that I can place. There's potato baskets and everything that I can just keep as a form of like storage to show like these are being tended to quite a bit and everything of that sort. Now on to a very interesting addition, a build that I am 100% not happy with at this point. I built this last fall, so basically a year ago. This is a pumpkin pie shop, and while I do think it's pretty cute on the inside, I just really am not happy with it overall. I built this as a way to add a pumpkin patch to the area, but once again, I'm just not very happy with it. And you're probably wondering, why do the umbrellas look like this? Well, when my furniture mod updated, the textures kinda went weird. I forget what their explanation was. They changed some textures for some things, and I just have yet to come back and really fix it. But yeah, I'm not happy with this build, and you can expect that before Hytale releases that this will be one of the builds that I work on before that game actually comes out and I transition completely over to that. Before we enter the quarry, I actually want to touch on a build that I am very happy with. I got inspired to do this enchantment area from a build on Pinterest that honestly I meant to copy block for block, but I accidentally made it a little bit too big, but it still ended up looking really cool. When I think of enchantment tables, I always think of nature is always the first thing that comes to mind, so I wanted to put it out in the open, surrounded by flowers and trees and bushes and all kinds of things like this. I also like to think of it as kind of an offering thing, so you see candles and pots and all sorts of things. There's also a conduit up here that one day I could actually use as a conduit rather than it just being a random decoration. And finally, we've made it all the way to the quarry, and I'm going to start off with not the first build here, but this is the Mason Trading Hall. People may see the Masons and not see them as a very useful villager, but as a builder, we see them as very useful. And as you can see, there is only one. And reason being is when this world did get a little bit corrupted, right? I had to use my creative copy, and when I used the creative copy, I had no villagers in here. It was just the build, no villagers, and this is what they happen to be, is all fishermen. And I was hoping that one day they would switch, and it seems like one of them did end up switching, but the rest of them just have not gone to Mason yet. But that's okay. This build in particular is supposed to look like a workshop where they chisel blocks and make different sorts of decorations on the side of blocks. So this is a chiseled andesite and a chiseled diorite block, and wow, I can break that just with my hand. That's crazy. Yeah, as for the build itself though, besides what it is, I do still like it. Is it my favorite build of all time? No, but I was pretty proud of it when I first made it. What the fuck? What? Excuse me? Excuse me? Do you want you want this? Moving on to the next thing, we're just gonna go around all the way. This is the toolsmith. And I was very, very happy with how this build turned out in the beginning, and I still am. Once again, when the wall goes around the quarry, this is going to be a little bit more of a shopping stall on this side, and then this is just going to be an exit out on this way to the quarry itself over here. Yeah, I'm happy with the outside of the build. The basement is also pretty cool, but I'm not very happy with the attic. Not the attic, my bad. I'm not very happy with the upper floor, like the room space where the person would probably live. I don't know why. Just something about it. I just don't like it. I mean, that's just. I kind of don't like how open it is. I kind of want there to be more walls and more close togetherness, I guess. So this actually comes up as a wall instead of it being open, and then maybe there's like this top part is divided into two separate rooms. One room is a kitchen, one room is just a small bed space. Like I don't know, but I want to redo this at some point. Now the next build is actually two separate things because I did this one right after the other. This is a small build that I store all of my stone in. Every single type of stone that I know that I will probably use in the future of this town, I use. And that is literally all this building is for. It was small, it was dinky, and at the time I was very proud of it, and now it's just kind of a build that is here. So there you go. And right next to it is what is supposed to be the mine entrance. This is where you would put the minecart and then go up on your way, but there's nowhere to actually go down, and that's because I still need to make the mine entrance and the way down to the mine and everything like that. And around this entire place is just a bunch of storage and filler things, so then it looks neat and everything else. Now we see that there is this neat port, and what started this port side wall thing is this amazing, lovely thing that I built right here. This is my tavern that houses my villager breeder, and I am still so happy with how this build turned out. This is my #1 favorite build that I think I have ever built, but I just absolutely love this build. This piece of the build right here was inspired by something I saw on Pinterest. I think it was some kind of Italian restaurant or Italian house that has this little spot here, and then you walk in and all the chairs and shelves are messed up, and for some reason there's no paintings on the wall. I don't know where they went, but yeah, it just feels so cozy and dim, and I just really like this spot in here. We have the ale barrels on the other side. We got some cups of beer. We got the cooking spot and everything, and once again the really fucked up storage spot for all the meat. And I just overall really like it, and I really like this detail over here. I used this is supposed to resemble like tickets or paper that writes orders on them. I would have preferred to put them right here, but instead they go right here because they won't fit nicely on those instead. You can't have a tavern without some rooms and also some horse stables. There are some horse stables outside here. But you can't have without some rooms. And there are rooms up here, but there's currently no beds in them. And why is there no beds in them? Because I needed beds for down below, and I didn't want the villagers to get attracted to the beds up here. But there is still a grandfather clock. There is some shades that are all closed up. There's a little community book shelf right here, and probably one of my favorite things that I have out here is this little upper floor where you can sit outside, play some cards, and just look out into the ocean. But what I'm gonna do while I'm out in the ocean is I'm going to take a nap. Yes, this build is my favorite thing that I have ever built, and like I said, it does house my villager breeder, which is down in the basement. Fun fact, this entrance for the basement is actually inspired by doors when I still played Roblox on the other channel. Unfortunately, that game's full of pedophiles. But yes, I love this, the basement. It is so open, there's spider webs and all kinds of stuff that is stored for the kitchen. But beyond that is this room, and there is all these rats! Rats, I tell you! Currently, there is no villagers in here because, like I said, this used to be the creative copy for this world, and now it is the main survival. So, there are no villagers down here quite yet, so I still need to work on that in survival, of course, but we'll get to that one day, probably off camera. I will do it. Once again, very happy with this. It was a great use of tough blocks after they came out. I was so happy to be able to use tough blocks. And when I built this, I said I don't want it to just be surrounded by nothing, so I built this cool little port right here that does extend downward and into the ocean. And I built this sort of just a little corner piece where people can sit around and hang out. Maybe they got some food from the tavern, whether they live there or not, and they just come over here and eat on the side. Over here is something that I kind of contradicted myself already when I said I'm not going to go anywhere near the water. I had to go near the water for this. Oh my god. I built a little place for my nether portal, and the way I did that was a little bit of shoreline rockage. This is, of course, a stony shore, and so I wanted to embrace the fact of that by making some jagged rocks that you have to jump across to get to the portal as a little bit of an aesthetic touch. Not all these rocks are textured. I just wanted to get something built for my nether portal, so I had a spot for it, but that's really it for this. So yes, I did have to be in the water for this. Haha, very funny. Yeah. I'm gonna eat my words when Hytale comes out and I have to fight the Kraken. I'm gonna be so upset, but I'm gonna have to do it because it's gonna be for you. But yes, it really wraps up the tour. You can expect a lot of things coming out of this series of Copium before Hytale releases. And I'm going to pass it over to voiceover me because I will have a much better time doing an outro and a little bit of other discussion stuff there because I don't like recording with just myself yet. This is like my fourth or fifth time actually recording on my own without people. And I still really don't like it, but I have to do it or else I'm never going to grow as a content creator or as a person. And I need to get oral communication down anyway. So yes, voice recording Liv, back to you. We made it to the end of the tour, but before you leave, if you are just as excited for Hytale as I am and need a buddy to cope with, then I would highly suggest subscribing to the channel. I will be making videos on this world while Hytale is being resurrected by Simon to build a foundation on how I will be making my future content. Being a Hytale content creator is my dream career, and I think now is the best time to start. I will see you all again very soon. Bye-bye.